So yes, sir.
Shall I start, ma'am? You would be taking care of admitting the participants, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll take it, sir.
Thank you.
We can start this session, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you so much. Okay, very good morning, all of you. Welcome to day 2 of the FDP on being a super teacher. Uh, like mentioned by our director, Dr. Ashok, yesterday, uh, the super teacher is the one who inspires, who learns, and who can create some value by continuous learning and by continuous influence and inspiration. And keeping that in mind, whatever is the essential ingredient of a super teacher, we have framed this program. So in that, yesterday we had discussed about some novel teaching methods which you can extend and go beyond the traditional lecturing. That was a wonderful session by Dr. Sumati Annamalai. And in continuation to that, the last part of Sumati ma'am's presentation, she was mentioning about certain tools which we can use for this online mode of delivery. And these tools are not just we use it only during this online classes and thereon we leave it actually. We can use this as a blending tools even if in future we are coming to go to offline classes in the traditional mode of teaching. These tools are handy. Okay, right. I'll straight away go into my presentation and give me a moment to share my screen.
In the meantime, I request all the participants to mute your video.
Right. Participants, is it visible to all of you? Can I have a check?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, See, I have purposely made that when I transit from one slide to another slide, there will be a 12-second music loop which will be playing for transition. Okay, I have deliberately made it so that you can just have a look at before I start what is in that slide. Okay, right. Uh, don't take it for as disturbance with music. It is purposely made so that you can have a look at the slide and just look at the contents. So, as I told you, we are going to discuss for tools for engaged learning. See, I have purposely not used the term digital learning. Since these are being digital tools, it doesn't mean that these cannot be extended to traditional classroom teaching. So if you want to get the students engaged, a student-centric learning, these tools are applicable. Okay, these are ICT and digital tools. These are also applicable in the traditional classroom, and in the given present scenario of digital-only classrooms, which we are taking up today, these tools are more prevalent. Okay, okay. So I have uh, divided my presentation into four broad areas. First, before using these tools and getting into these tools, there are certain things we will have to understand before we take up this. So that I have framed it as part one. And in part two, uh, how to get ready to use these tools, that I have framed it as part two. Then I'm actually discussing the tools which we are going to discuss. Then 4 is sharing. So what is the sharing is all about is, see, we all get used to many tools and we get it from different sources. So it is not essential and it is not also
Excuse me,
possible
sir.
that,
David, sir.
yes ma'am,
Sir, can you please increase your volume?
increase my volume.
Few
Okay.
participants are asking to increase your
Yes.
voice.
Okay. Right.
So it is totally muted now.
Totally muted. Yeah.
No, sir.
No.
It is very low now.
Can you give me feedback now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So the fourth part will be sharing. As I told you, it is not essential and it is not also possible for everyone to know every of the tools. So I'll be presenting the certain of the tools which I have used and from the various workshops I have attended with those which inspired me. I'm sharing it to you now. So you can always add up one. So the last few minutes of this session, I will leave it open so that apart from this, you encountered certain tools, or if you are using anything specific to your institution, which you would like to recommend to this audience forum, please you can do it ahead. Okay. So this is how I have planned my session. So just I'm getting into the basics first. Okay. Okay. So kindly appreciate and accept the diversity here, because we have people from various parts of the pyramid. There are certain people from bottom of the pyramid which they are just starting into this digital platform of delivery of classes, and there are certain experts who are ICT codes, digital classroom enablers, and with so many designations attached. And there are some extensive practices and there are also certain beginners. So I will try to broadly cover things which can appeal to all of these people. And if you are an advanced learner, please make use of the session uh, part 4 of this session, where you can contribute whatever you have learned. You can share it in the audience forum. Okay. There are certain tools, as I told you, which may be familiar to you. Okay. In that case, whichever I leave it upon, you can add on those also. This is the feature you have missed, and this is also a wonderful feature. Then later we have a discussion. So there are audience who are just starting their career right from school teachers, and we have also audience who are, as I told you, ICT coaches and all those things. So kindly accept and appreciate the diversity, so we can learn from anyone. And as learner, we should also enable learning. So don't think that these are the very basic tools. Why to sit this man is telling this are ICT tools and starting about with the basics and all those things. So in order to try to appeal to the wide spectrum of audience, I'll be just touching on the various tools that start from the basics. Okay. So kindly bear with it. Number two is like, see, I'm giving you a wide variety of tools for you to pick from. I would not say not all tools will suit everybody. Okay. So these are the wide assortment of tools which I'm presenting to you. And it is not also advisable for you to use everyone. So in that case, being in multiple platforms and using multiple platforms, we may lose the consistency and we may lose followers. Okay. At least if you to teach for a batch, if you have selected a particular tool and all those things, you need to stick on to that. Okay. Frequent changing of audience and asking them to log into every new classrooms you create, every new forums you create, will create certain chaos among the students. Okay. So I would just present a wide assortment of tools, and whatever is appealing to you, and whatever is personally preferable to you, whatever is more convenient for you to just follow on, which sparks you, just pick up from the basket of tools which I will be presenting here. Okay. Okay, these are the words by Mitch Kapoor. You would have known about, everybody would have heard. Lotus, which was the software which we were using earlier. Okay, he was the founder of it. And see, it's like, this fire extinguishers, hydrants. So it will splash huge amount of water. So from that, taking a drink is really very, very, very difficult. So as I have told you, this internet is flashing us with the n number of tools, and from that, picking the right tool is a bit very difficult and different. And that's why we share it in this common forum like this, so that whatever I may not know, you may contribute, and whatever I know, that I can take it across to the other participants. Okay. Now we will get ready with certain things. Right. I'll start with a small presentation of what is this ICT in education. I will not give you definitions and all those things. We all aware ICT is nothing but information communication technology. Okay. How do we use that ICT in classrooms? It's all about ICT in education. See, we have been doing it for quite longer period of time, but the quantum in which it is being used have changed over period of times. See, earlier we used to use PowerPoints. PowerPoints for there for more than 3 decades. We have been using it. It's a form of ICT. Then we slowly started showing up students with certain videos which will supplement our lectures. It's again a use of ICT actually. Then we moved into the system of online assessments and all those things. Now we have come to a point where it is fully digital. So as I told you, the quantum of usage is different, but ICT is there in education for quite a longer period of time. And with this pre-note, we'll move to the next part. Okay, see, these points which I will be discussing in this part in getting ready is there are certain prerequisites we need to keep in mind before we start using ICT tools in our digital classrooms. See, please try not to replicate your traditional classrooms in the digital medium. See, the classes delivery in the digital medium requires and it demands a total outlook altogether. However you teach in class, the style and methodology you adapt in your traditional classroom method, if you are just going to deliver it in through a social media platform, then that is not going to work out. Okay, so that is why I have given this analogy of plant. Okay, if you are just trying to adapt the traditional method which you have adapted in classroom and just only the conveying medium, now instead of teaching in classrooms, you now teach in virtual classrooms, and that is not going to work out. For a plant to grow in a new place, you need to take right from the root. If you don't just pluck leaves and place it in a different place, it will grow. You need to take it from the root. So it needs an entire outlook altogether. So please keep this in mind. My own mode of delivery, my way of speech, my way of my way of explaining things which I used to adapt in the traditional classroom. If I'm going to deliver the same through a Google Classroom or some videos or some Zoom or this Meets, then it is not going to work out. Okay, so that learning won't happen. Okay, fine. Take it from the root. Okay, you need to have a total outlook altogether. Please don't dump the students with a lot of information. You all have noted this information overload. Even we as a faculty experienced this overload quite a few months back, and we have been experiencing till now. Whatever webinar comes and whatever is thing, we would register, because maybe our institutes and wants to keep us busy, and we wants to gain more number of certificates and all those things. So we know what programs we have registered. Half of the programs we forget. I put it in reminders, but I don't know where, from which source it came from, and when to attend. Most of the times we forget. Okay, right. So don't go for information overload. See, in digital classroom, it is not about the quantity of information you give. It is like how it is all about the quality of information, how engaging it is. Because in traditional classroom, you can observe the students' behavior directly, and you can have control over the behavior because you are a person in a traditional classroom. But imagine in a digital classroom, you are just an image. You are just an ID. You are not a person. You are just an ID. Okay. So, being a person in the traditional classroom itself, bringing up the classroom behavior and managing the classroom behavior is difficult. We discussed certain of those issues from yesterday's session. So, but that is more challenging in the digital platform, because I told you here you are not a person, you are just an ID. Okay, so don't be in a hurry to conduct 3 hour, 4 hour sessions with lengthy lectures and all those things, which is less engaging. Okay, I don't have the right to comment about the duration of the sessions actually, but you will have to ensure that it is engaging. And how to make it engaging, we would see certain ICT tools which will help us engage along, so that it can blend with our lectures and it can take a meaningful learning to the students. Fine. So avoid information overload in digital platforms. And other aspect you will have to keep in mind while we plunge into this usage of IT tools is, like, this digital classrooms are will be delivered by either any three of these devices. Either they'll be looking at a tablet, mobile phone, or a laptop. Okay, what are all these devices? See, now we have been using it for education because of the demanding scenario. But actually looking at this, uh, these are predominantly used for entertainment purposes by the students. They used to do this project works, typing and all those things, yes, but most of the time they used to watch movies, engage in a video call. So now you are trying to transform a medium which is known for serving entertainment to education, and that is where this ICT tools come into play. It's a medium which is predominantly used for entertainment. Now we are asking the students to use it for education. So we will have to keep it engaging. So what we will look at for an entertainment, it should be engagement actually. It should keep them busy. It should stick them to watch the content. So we are we need to take care of this aspect before we start using this ICT tools. So, right. The tools whichever we are going to discuss, for our convenience sake, I have classified this into this forums to fit in this forums. First, I will speak of the materials, which is nothing but we will call it as the content, and the medium through which you will take your content to reach the students, which I call it as the communication platform or the medium. Then you have delivered something. You are really interested in knowing whether it has reached your class or reached your target audience or not. So I have used the M called metrics, which is nothing but assessment. And it should, since being a digital forum, it should be open to all, and we can also leverage it for reaching a huge audience beyond your class. Don't think of this digital platforms just to reach your class of 60 or class of 120 or class of 240, whatever it may be. It can reach to millions of people. So how to reach to the mass? So in this four criteria, I'll be presenting you with the ICT tools. The tools which are meant for developing our content, the tools which enable communication, the tools which enable assessment, the tools which will enable us to take our content to reach a mass public. But strictly speaking, there are certain tools which will fit in all these four. Okay, so just for our what you call a convenience in segregating, I have segregated, but that is not a strict segregation. Okay, and before we start discussing the tools in these aspects, please keep in mind the three aspects which I told you. The root philosophy: don't take just the leap, don't try to replicate your traditional classroom, no information overload, and number three is just keep in mind you are using an entertainment medium to education, so keep it engaging. Okay, right. Now we will go ahead. So as I told you, I have classified this ICT tools which are meant for developing your materials, which is content, then the medium, which is communication, then assessment, which is metrics, then finally taking it to the mass audience. Okay, so here I'll not be able to give you a live demo of each and every tool. There are certain tools which I can show you. Okay, this is not a workshop where we take one particular tool and we discuss in and out of that particular tool. Just I'm throwing you a canvas. It's just a canvas we are providing. So in this, whatever painting you want to draw, that is up to you to decide. Okay, what is the sort of painting you want? Because everyone has got interest and everyone's need is unique. So I'm just providing the broad spectrum of tools and whatever is to and however to use it and to what extent to use each of the tool, it is up to you. Okay. See, when we take certain of us may be teaching kids, certain of us may be teaching adults, adolescents, and certain of us may be teaching postgraduates. Okay, right. So not all the tools will be appropriate for everyone. So we need to have a thing for choice, and we need to let ourselves decide which tool which will suit the target audience. Okay, fine. Now we will discuss the tools with regard to this. So I have told you it is just sharing of whatever tools I know. So it is neither suggestive or it is not exhaustive. Okay, I will not say this is the only tools which you can use. There are n number of tools out there, and I am not also suggesting this is the best tool. Okay, right. We'll go to our tools pertaining to M1. The tools which will help us in preparing our content. Okay, right. So content is your material, what you are going to deliver in your digital classroom. And if you have a strong content, that will itself keep the students engaging. And I don't think as faculty, you would be having any difference of opinion on this. A strong content is very much required, whether you teach in a physical classroom or in an online platform. So in making our content, in preparing our content more engaging, more interesting, more appealing. Okay, so what are all the tools we have got? This we will discuss in this section. Most of you would have heard this term media richness, and there are certain media which can reach the target audience. The effectiveness of its communication is limited. Let us take, for example, you compare radio and television. Always television is a better media than radio, because in radio you have the limitation to hear only the audio, but in television you have both audio and video. So try to make your content media rich and try to make it visually appealing, keeping in mind, I told you, you are using an entertainment medium for education, right? So we will have to keep it visually appealing. So what are the other tools we can use to keep it visually appealing, to make engaging contents? Just have a look at it. Okay, right. So I have put it in an order. Okay, you can take it as like ranking order. See, most of us are still using PowerPoint presentation. Fine. And we display our PowerPoint presentation. Even now, what I'm using is a PowerPoint presentation. We all have a notion that whenever we start talking about PowerPoint presentation as an ICT tool, everybody will have a frown in their face, as if the resource person has committed certain crime. How come this person can talk about ICT tools having a heading and under that he is talking about PowerPoint? Okay. See, nevertheless of the fact, PowerPoint remains for most of the decades and is the very basic tool, and yet it is a powerful tool. It stands by its name, PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm starting with that hierarchy. So I will give you certain tools which can make your PowerPoint presentations more effective. Though we may claim that I use this platform, that platform, and all those things, what do you use for sharing your content? You may be in Zoom, you may deliver your classroom via Google Classroom or even WhatsApp. To share the content, what is the presentation tool you are using? Still, most of us stick to PowerPoint. So how to make that PowerPoint more effective? I'm not going to teach you how to create slides and all those things. To create visually appealing PowerPoint presentations, right? So you can start with certain templates which can be used in PowerPoint presentations. Then slowly from PowerPoint, you can move to different presentation platforms. Then slowly you can start using presentation softwares. That's why I said it is a hierarchy. Okay, right. So for templates, there are a lot of websites available which will provide you free, totally free, copyright free, and much visually stunning and engaging templates where you can make your content more effective. Okay, so just have a look at this tool. It is called Free Picker. Okay, it is not only giving you templates, you will get lot of icons. You know, normally you will use like this dream thing, cloud dreaming. Then if you want to tell something with images, then you will require certain icons. So all those icons, all those templates are available. I will not only say this Free Picker is the only site. You will have a lot of templates. There is some thing called Go Slides where you will have a standard Google template for different categories. If you want to make presentation for an education, if you want professional presentation, if you want something in technical, if you want a theme-based presentation, there it has got all the templates. So you can use a template to start with. Okay. Now, moving to different forums. If you want to quote many things, if you want to have customized templates of your own, and if you want to come out of Microsoft PowerPoint and use something different to start with, you can try out Google Slides. So this will be a part of your Google Apps platform. Okay. And we all have a Google account. Almost everybody has. And you know the 9 dots, when you click there, you will have all the apps you have by Google. And if you click more apps, it will just take you to the Google website itself where they have n number of apps. And one is this Google Slides, where you can create your own customized slides and all those things. The beauty about Google Slides is since it is being offered by Google, you can quote lot of third-party contents. Suppose if you want to refer certain citations, take them to different sites during your PowerPoint presentation and refer from the internet sources, Google Slides will be more useful. Then more popular thing, but I would say it is more underused, which is this Prezi. Prezi is a presentation software. It's a platform independent. You got both Prezi Classic and Prezi new version has also come. So this will take your presentations to a different level. Okay, so here we are not talking about Microsoft PowerPoint. Actually, this is a presentation software. The three at this side, at the right end extremes, are presentation softwares. So Prezi has been there for more than 2 to 3 decades, but it is mostly underused. Most of us would have heard about Prezi, but due to its limited thing which it would offer in its classic version, and for the advanced features you will have to pay actually. And I don't know how many institutes you can even purchase it for your institute, where your level of customization will be more. But with standard templates, you can have the you cannot add more slides. You can just only customize the paths. It will motion paths and all those things. Okay, right. So Prezi can be a presentation software which you want if you want to try something new apart from this regular Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, then there is a thing with what you call uh, in line with Prezi, that is called Emaze. Okay, so it's not only a presentation software. I'll just take you to the website of Emaze, or shall I hold it for at the last? So after I complete the presentation, I will take you to sample of each of this website. Ma'am, can you check with the participants and let me know? You can type it in the chat box. Then and there you want to visit those respective sites, or I'll not be taking you to all the sites. Whichever I think it is to be shown, I will show. Or shall I show it by the end of it all? Any responses from the participants in the chat box, ma'am?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you can show it then and there so that it will be easy for us to remember.
Okay, right. So I'll just so anyway, my screen is shared. So I'll just take you to my thing. So this is Emaze which I am talking about. Okay. See, almost Prezi and this will be similar. I will just show you an sample presentation which I have created in Prezi as well as this Emaze. See, this is how it can make your presentations. It's similar to Prezi actually. Okay. And it is platform independent. Once you download it and once you have it in your system, it will be a flash file and it is platform independent. So you need not worry whether this Emaze software is available. Okay. So just have a look at it. Right. Just the transitions. Okay. Fine. So people, yes, your what you have put in that words, that content is so important, but it will just give you an different experience for the audience. So this is all about Emaze, and for your reference, this Emaze is not only the thing for making your presentations alone. You can do a lot of things with this software, which is you can have your own things discussed. Just I'm taking it to your home screen. Have a look at it. Okay, this thing can start help you with creating presentations, help you with creating templates for your blogs, help you with creating templates for your own website, and you know, there are a lot more to do apart from making your own presentations. So just explore this. Okay, this is more or similar to Prezi. Most of the presentations in Prezi will also look like this. Okay, right? The other advantage of using this presentation software is you need not worry to take your presentations, and in MS we will have to worry whether that version will support. If you are using it in 2013 versions, whether it will get supported if my system which I'm going to use there is only like 2010 or not. So here you need not worry about it because everything is publicly available. The only thing is you will have to require a login ID, and you can, if you have a decent internet connection, you can open it anywhere and you can show it to the participants. Okay, right. So I'll be back to my presentation. Okay, so that is emails for you. Just explore. As I have told you, we cannot take much time in each of the tools. I'll be sharing the presentation anyway. Just note down all the tools. Whenever you find time, just engage yourself, explore each of the tool, and then you finally come to a conclusion, which is that which is close to your heart and which is that you are convenient using it. Then yesterday in the closing part of Sumati ma'am's session, she mentioned about a software which can create avatars of your own, animated avatars. Okay, so one such website is this. Is again a presentation software. It's Telegami. Okay, right. I'll just show it to you what Telegami can do to your presentations. And again, if you could see this image, this is for adults. You cannot ask the kids to watch it because they will not be able to appreciate. But this thing of creating an avatar of your own and presenting, this will not be appreciated by grown-ups. So depending on the target audience, you will have to select the right tool. Yeah, I'm hearing some voices from the audience. Is somebody trying to talk? Okay, I'll continue. Okay, so this is Telegami. So where you can create an animated avatar of yourself, and then you can create a presentation. You can even record your own voice. Just explore. Okay.
So sorry, sir.
Yeah, no
Miss
issues.
Angeline, Miss Angeline, please mute your audio.
There is no wonder a baby is crying because these things we would ourselves cry. It's no wonder that the babies are crying. Okay, right? So you can create a scene, you can add a dialogue, and you can share. So this is meant for your kids actually. Okay, so this we can use. So here is it about the various presentation softwares, and there are of course many softwares available. Okay, which you can explore, right? So I'll move to the next part of it. So these are the presentation tools which I have presented in a hierarchy. If you are still sticking with MS PowerPoint, if you want to make that MS PowerPoint more interactive, use templates where you have got something called PowerPointify, Go Slides, then this Tree Picker. There are a lot of templates available, and with that template, you can create effective MS PowerPoint presentations. If you want to switch from MS PowerPoint to a different platform, start trying with Google Slides. If you want to keep away with this PowerPoint stuff and you want to go with the cloud-based presentation software, if you want to add new dimensions to it, then try Prezi, Emails, Telegram. Okay, right. So that's why I have put it in a hierarchy: templates, platform, and new presentation softwares. Ma'am, I am still hearing some buzzing voices. Like one of the participants, I request them to mute. We are also recording it for the purpose of.
Just hold on a second. I'll remove them. I'll mute them. Just hold on a second.
Sorry, others, for being very specific about this muting and unmuting, because we will also recording this, and this will be broadcasted to the audience who are not able to join now. So it is going to be in YouTube also. So that is why we are concerned about the disturbances in between. Okay? Right. Now done with presentation tool. Shall I proceed?
Sir,
You can,
is Anthony Justin's name is showing to you?
now I'm just looking at the screen. It's in full screen mode.
Just hold on.
I'm presentation mode.
I have some network issue
Okay,
here.
okay. Just I will try to mute them.
Madam Murugappan,
Yeah.
Madam, I can able to see the audience.
Yeah,
But you
please, ma'am.
cannot
Please.
unmute
But
or
I can,
remove
yes,
him,
yes.
sir. So I'll just hold on a second. I'm logging with David sir's ID.
I am back. What is the name, ma'am?
Sir, her name
Yeah,
is Angeline Justin.
I'm muting. I'm muting. I'm muting.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, right. Other audience, sorry for the inconvenience. I'm just going to share. Fine. So this is to start with your materials point of view, content. Okay, right. Right. So yesterday we were talking about all this PowerPoint presentations, all those stuff. Okay, this is okay. But you know, we were I told you, we were in diverse fields. There are subjects, purely analytical subjects, maths and all those things requires lot of writing. So we need to use whiteboards, and we will use this blackboards and all those things. So is there any digital boards available? Yesterday, Sumati ma'am mentioned you about a few boards. If you want not a ready-made content, but you want to present, I mean, write online so that the audience can, your class can follow it step by step. If you want a digital board, these are the options available for you. Okay. Again, you know, you can share what you create. We have yesterday discussed with Sumati ma'am. She has already let the cat out of the bag. This whiteboard.fi, most widely used, and she also explained about the features. You can write it page by page, and finally you can share it with a PDF doc and all those things. Okay. Then you have got a thing by Google, which is called yeah. Hello. Yeah, there is a thing by Google which is Jamboard. Okay. Ma'am, better you can log in with my ID because you know this muting. Okay, right. Ma'am, shall I look into that participant? Who's that? Like
Never Shakti Vel.
if participants, I request you to kindly mute your audio at least. You can do your own work while the class is going on, but at least kindly mute so that the other participants, I will not be wasting the time of other participants. Kindly. Okay, fine. So these are the things you can use. Okay, fine. And there is one thing called Screencastify, which you can use. Again, this was shared yesterday. Screencastify. The thing is, Screencastify is very simple. You can just add it as an extension or just add it as an plugin in your Google Chrome itself, the screen itself. So Screencastify is that. Then we have one thing called Beyond. Okay, so it is another collaborative presentation software. And at the top of it all, I have put a Miro. See, I have put it in an hierarchical order. The most advanced and the most for multi-purpose use is Miro. Then comes Beyond. In my opinion, no no offense taken here, because there will be somebody who is very comfortable with Whiteboard.5, most widely used. So Miro is a collaborative software where you can go for creating a mind map kind of thing. You can explain your ideas. If you are leading a small group, if you are enabling group discussions and presentations, this can be used. Just visit the respective websites. Okay. And Beyond is again more engaging than Screencastify, Whiteboard.fi and Jamboard. Whatever you scribble and sketch it, it will capture it. Okay. If you want templates where you can pen down your thoughts, then you can use Miro and Beyond. Okay. So these are some of the digital boards available. So all this we are discussing in connection with how to get your contents ready. Okay, if you have contents which can be shared in words, which can be shared in pictures, then use those presentation softwares or templates which I mentioned earlier. If you are into more of explanation of writing, derivations and all those things, then you can use this digital boards available. Okay, now what if I want to create my own video content? Then there are few softwares available. And yesterday somebody was asking, can I use a portion of my NPTEL video? You all know we have been taking NPTEL courses. You would find not all the portions of the video. There will be certain portions which will be more, you may think that it can be shared with your students also. So can I use that NPTEL videos in my video presentations? Of course you can. So I would give you some video recording and editing softwares which will enable you to prepare your content if you are more specific about having a pre-recorded content. Okay, so just have a look at this. So you can create your own videos with this, you can edit them and you can share. Okay, even if it is downloaded video, you can download, and in your video you can also have the downloaded video as a portion of your video. Okay, right. So we have a wonderful tool in Windows inbuilt, but I don't know how many of them have used it actually. There is a wonderful inbuilt app called Windows Movie Maker, which will come as a standard thing like your MS Office in your Windows, right? So here you can download videos, you can trim it, you can add subtitles to you can add background musics, everything you can do. Very simple, and it is quite free actually. If you are using a Windows operating system, this is free. There are other third-party softwares available, lot of softwares available. The thing which I found more interesting is these two, so that's why I'm just sharing these two. Okay, one is called Loom and other is called Camtasia. So both, you see, most of the YouTube channels you would have watched, there will be something at their background and there will be a photo or an image of them speaking to them. So if you want to have such type of presentations recorded where you can have your own talking in a small portion of your entire screen, and in the backdrop you want your presentations to run, or some contents which you want to share, or even if you are whiteboards or something like that, if you want to use digital boards, if you want to use this video recording softwares, Loom and Camtasia. Okay, when you go for paid versions, the features are awesome, but still you can use with the free versions. When you are using free versions, Loom allows you to record only for 30 minutes. So that you will have to keep in mind. And Loom only allows you to have videos where your face and your live talking will come here at the left bottom, and in background, whatever is there in your screen will be there in your background. It can be a presentation or it can be something if you want to type. So whatever is there in your screen, it will capture your screen, and you have the option of capturing your screen only, screen and your voice, or your own voice only. Okay, so all these things you can just explore. The only thing you will have to keep in mind is Loom allows you to record only for 30 minutes if it is a free version. Okay, fine. But this Windows Movie Maker, you can make your own video. But this Windows Movie Maker, it is like from downloaded sources. Say for example, you got a 1 hour video which you have watched. Out of that, you want only the 10-minute content to be presented to your audience. So likewise, you want to compile from various different sources, then Windows Movie Maker will be of very handy to you. Okay, so these are some of the softwares, video editing softwares we have gone, right? So contents. Most of you will wonder why I'm bringing this online education platforms, digital course platforms into this ICT tools. Okay, right. In Udemy, most of the persons, Udemy and Coursera, most of the persons will know, faculty, you also insist your students to take up courses also. Okay, right. But the thing is, in Udemy and Coursera, you can be an instructor yourself. You can start offering courses, right? And as a prerequisite, you want to have good videos. You would have seen videos in Udemy. It will be not more than 10 minutes. Okay, certain videos will be only 2 minutes. So all those videos will be a part of the course, and the instructor will be speaking for 2 to 3 minutes with some information in the background. So if you want to become an instructor in Udemy, they offer you a course on how to record yourself very effectively, how to create impressive recording. So that course will be very useful for you if you are logging in as if you want to be an instructor, and they give you all the tips like how to have a better audio, how to make the video very clear, and how to have optimal lighting settings and everything without much going to the professional studios. Right from your home, how to do all those things, they are giving tips. So that is why I thought I would also share this information also as a part of your ICT tool in content creation. Fine. So there I think ends our first session. And most of the schools and mostly who are teaching graduates, I mean undergraduates, you will be using this mind maps. Mind maps, again, we are using it for more than a decade. So quickly, I'll just go through. I will just throw you some of the tools which you can use to use this mind map. Okay, these are the tools. Okay, so there is mind map, there is Venngage, there is FreeMind, and Mindly. Just go to the websites, especially Mindly and Venngage. They doesn't stop only with mind maps. They offer you a lot of infographics. They offer you a lot of icons to be added in your mind maps. So you can make your mind maps more creative. You can also come out with some theme-based mind maps. For creativity, you will be, if you are giving a presentation on creativity, you will be requiring more icons related to creativity, like a bulb sparking, somebody thinking, something cropping out of mind. So you can create more of theme-based presentations. Icons are readily available. And if you want to add some infographics and comments also, you can add, especially with this Venngage and Mindly. Okay, so you need to evaluate which is the right tool for me. And again, it is comfort and convenience. See, somebody wants everything to be preset so that I can just fill in the details. But somebody wants exclusive customization where I want to create it on my own. If you want to create it on your own without any presets and all those things, I would suggest you to use FreeMind. If you want everything as a template where you can fit in your own contents, then you can use this Venngage, MindMap, and Mindly. And there is also free versus paid versions. So just there are certain versions which will have watermarks. After you have converted into a JPEG image or an image format or a PDF format, they will have their watermarks if it is a free version. So check for all these things and you make a wise choice. Right? So this is about mind map creation tools. Right. So that is the end of our discussion tools with regard to preparation of contents. Now let us move on to the medium. So medium here, I mean, now that your content is ready, either it will be your recorded video, either it will be some edited video where you take videos from various sources and you have compiled it in your video, and I have given softwares for that, or it may be some wonderful presentations which you have created either with some animations or with some beautiful templates. Now your content is ready. How do I take it to my students? The digital platforms available. Okay, right. So before going to that, just have a look at it. Most of us use, we have a choice. See, we can use all third-party platforms. Say, for example, I can create my content with either a Breezy, Emaze, or Telegami. I can create some videos with Loom. I will create mind maps with certain softwares, and I will take it through a free independent social platform that is also can be done. Or most of the institutes will be using their institutional purchased version that will run from using Google Classrooms, that will run from using Moodle as an learning management system platform, which is open source, or some of the institutions for NAC accreditation and all those things. It is very essential that you measure all the course outcomes and what is the level of attainment of each outcome. For that, there are certain specific softwares available in the market. So few of the institutes may also be using that software. So whether you want to use an all-in-one or bits and pieces, this puzzle kind of thing. This all-in-one comes in a pre-framed template. Say if you take Moodle, you can create a class, you can upload all the resources, you can conduct online examinations. So that is an all-in-one thing. If you take a Google Classroom, again, this is an all-in-one thing. Okay. Or I can use different independent platforms. I will create content in one thing. I will try to share it with my participants through one other party thing. So the choice is yours. So what is your institute culture and your own personal preferences? You can go according to that. So you have two choices to make: all-in-one platform and different platforms from the third-party service providers. Okay, right. So let us go one by one. So all this will be almost known to all. Moodle, quite a longer period of time you are using, but the question is only very few of the organization, most of the institutes have an institutional package for Moodle where they get it downloaded and they customize for their own organization with an IT team, and then they have Moodle across their platform. Okay, right. Then this Google Classroom, which we were widely using, it's freely available with Google. And apart from that, the most popular thing is Edmodo. Okay, though many of you think that Edmodo is for schools and all those things, there is one unique feature apart from creating class, sharing something with your class, sharing resources with your class which you have created, and engaging in a live chat. Edmodo also provides you a platform to interact with teachers, the teaching community. Those who are using Edmodo would appreciate this. You need to have what kind of teacher you are. You need to describe your own discipline, and you would have sharing across the world. They would share something which will be prevalent to you. If it is informative to you, you are free to use that resource. Similarly, you can also share your own resources to your teaching community. So apart from running an e-learning management system, creating a class, sending resources, taking attendances, conducting evaluations, Edmodo also offers you this feature where you can have a forum among the teachers itself. Okay. Then there is one thing called Nearpod. Just explore Nearpod. I'll just take you to Nearpod because the other three are very familiar to us. Nearpod is something new. So I just take you to Nearpod. So this is Nearpod for you. Okay, it just requires your just a login. You can use it free. I have registered it for free, so you can start your discussion with a classroom discussion with a question. Okay, you can create a gamified quiz, which is assessment, and then you can create your class with the Spark and all those things. And there is also teachers resources here. Just I will take it to you, which you can see. They are giving webinars. They are giving instructional lessons on how to effectively use this Nearpod. Okay, just you have a look at it. These are the various webinars they are organizing. So never mind. Yes. Never mind if you are not familiar with it, how to use. they are themselves offering free live sessions on how to use this. Okay, and you can also go for this instructional lessons and all those things and just explore. Okay, so this is Nearpod for you, right? Right. Then I will also move to this. There is a thing by Flipgrid. Yesterday, ma'am mentioned it, I seem, but I'll just take you to it. Okay, Flipgrid is by Microsoft, and the beauty is here it is for all the classes. Okay, you can customize Flipgrid for if you are teaching for kids, if you are teaching for high schools, if you are teaching for higher secondary schools, if you are teaching for undergraduates, postgraduates, you can customize your Flipgrid according to that. Just I'm taking you to this. So this is Flipgrid for you. So you can straight away start with creating your activity. You can just say a hello, okay, and you can share, and there are various actions here. Just you need to you need to explore. Okay, so you can export data, you can delete a topic, you can create topic, you can create a class. So I have created a class here, and it will automatically allot me a code when I am trying to register it. And you can also add an co-pilot, which means an collaborative teacher. Okay, so you can create your class and you can go for it. Okay, so they call it as grids. Each of the class you create and each of the activity you create, they call it as grids. Okay, then just you go for it. Just look at all those features. You can just have a look at it. Okay, fine. So these are some of the all-in-one ELMS platforms available. Okay, and most of you would like to use Moodle, but you know, though it is an open source, it requires certain level of customization to have Moodle in your own system. Okay, right. So there are many third-party websites which host Moodle. Okay, so most of you who would be using Moodle would understand that Moodle just cannot be straight away downloaded and used it in your laptop. Creating your own class, though it is open source, it requires certain kind of technical customization and implementation. And once it is implemented, everything is free, and you can have Moodle within your campus, and you can allow the students to access outside your campus also. All those flexibilities available. But as an individual who doesn't have much of IT knowledge, how do I install Moodle and run it? If it is asking for certain programming kind of customization, you need not worry. There are most of third-party websites which host Moodle, and you can straight away jump into create your classroom. Okay, so why I'm emphasizing this is Moodle is really a wonderful platform, and because of this technical glitch in this, it should not stop you from using Moodle. So in that case, if you want to straight away use Moodle, you can go for the hosting website, and one is this Gnomio, Gnomio, Gnomio.com, and this is an hosting website for Moodle. Okay, just you registered with this website, you will be sent a link to your mail ID which you have created for registering, and there you will get a link to your own Moodle classroom. And in Moodle, you know the features. You can create classroom, you can create assignments, you can create multiple choice quizzes, you can share your own resources, you can upload videos, and there is a forum for you and your students to interact with. They can post questions, you can answer questions, you can set deadlines for assessment. Everything can happen. Okay, so this Moodle, Nearpod, and this Flipgrid, these are all-in-one platforms which I was talking about. Okay, now what if I don't want an all-in-one platform, because the options there are limited. Okay, I want to create my own videos, I want to have my own assessment tool, I want to have my own delivery medium. Then you can have your content ready and use certain social platforms to share your content. So you all know this. We are familiar with this all. Okay, I have not put Google Hangout Meet here. specifically because we are already into Google Hangout Meet. So we know the features of Google Hangout Meet. Okay. So apart from this, what are all the things available? I think most of you would have heard of Cisco WebEx meetings. Most of the webinars we are attending, and almost you would have come across any one of these platforms. And I would provide you in the consequent slides how to compare all this and take a choice. Okay. Then there is one thing called Vivox. Then from Microsoft, you have got Microsoft Teams. Then we have got something called Team Link. There is a social platform. Then GoToWebinar. Or if you want to conduct some professional webinars, you need not want to have these glitches and all. Say for example, the platform now we are using can accommodate only 250 participants. So what we are supposed to do, we will have to live stream it in YouTube. Since we are not in the institute, we are using personal data connection here. We are not able to lively stream it. So what we are doing, we are recording the session and later we are streaming it in YouTube. So if you want to avoid all these glitches, now I am presenting live. If you want to see me, then I will have to switch from my presentation mode, go back to the live mode, then present. So what is that? If something is professionally organized by letting in participants, yesterday, many of you being at the first day, you called us, you said, I have given a request, you are not admitting and all those things. So if you want to do away with this technical glitches, you can always go for an outsourced webinar thing, which like Webinar Jam. There are a lot of many other professional webinar hosting people available and softwares available. And of course, these are paid actually. Okay. So these platforms are free to use. Cisco WebEx, Team Links, Vivox, Microsoft Teams, GoToWebinar, and Webinar Jam is the professional thing which I talked about. And based on the amount you are ready to pay, this you can do it for your institutions. You can suggest it for your institutions. Okay, so they can get a professional support based on the package you are in. It can at a time allow 4 to 5 presenters, and it will take care of allowing the participants, sending them mails, getting them registered, getting feedbacks from them. Everything it will take care of. Okay, we need not worry about it. Okay, fine. So, but the thing is, all these other things are free, and these you will get it only for paid. I just made a small comparison between the social platforms available. Just I will keep those slides for a minute. You can just have a look at it, and then you can decide on which platform is more convenient for you to conduct meetings, not attend meetings. Attend meetings, it is the choice of the meeting host. When you want to conduct meetings, which platform can be more suitable to you. Can just have this thing. I just hold this each of the slides for a minute. I have compared only 4 because these are the most popular things we have using. I've skipped the Google Meet because it comes as like we are using it live now. So you know how many it can accommodate, what is possible with Google Meet and what is not possible with Google Meet. So I want you to know about the other softwares which we are using. Of course, Zoom is a question actually, like, but you can look at the other things like GoToMeetings, Microsoft Teams, and Cisco WebEx. Okay, everything is free, but in free package, you have certain limitations, either in number of participants or with regard to the duration of your sessions. Okay, and move on to the next thing. Grid view is nothing but when nobody is presenting, you can have the thumbnails of the participants available. Okay, though you may have 100 at a time, you will be able to see only this many number of people. Okay, right, we will move on. Fine. So I given you a choice, and all-in-one systems. where you got Moodle, Google Classroom, Edmodo, and I have also shown you some of the other things, this Nearpod, Flipgrid, and all those things. That this thing, I want to make it independent. Content I will prepare, but I would deliver it through some of these platforms. Then you can have it. Okay, right. Now coming to the assessments metrics. So why do you need this assessment and metrics? There are 4 T's. See, you need to ensure whether transfer of learning has taken place, for which you need to go for assessments. Then you all roll out sessions with certain target in your mind. Target doesn't mean that quantifiable numbers. Here, the target I'm talking about is the learning outcome. Okay, and you need to ensure that whether that particular target of learning outcome is achieved or not. For that, you need to go for assessments. Then you need to track. I know you will be delivering your syllabus or your subject or course in modules, unit 1, unit 2 maybe, or module 1, module 2. So you need to keep track of whether they are normally we will start with the basics, and as we progress along the course, we will be taking it to the advanced concepts to be covered in that particular course. So you need to keep track of whether they have understood the basics, and there are certain topics which will require prerequisites. What is this prerequisites? If in our own example, if I could say, if I need to talk about branding, first of all, they need to have some sort of understanding about marketing. In similar ways in mathematics also, right? If they need to know about certain things, certain basic algebra or certain basic differentiation or integration principles is very much essential for you to teach them with other topics. So similarly, it applies to all. So whether they are on the track and whether they are traveling along with you when you take up the course. Okay, right. For these purposes, we wanted to go for assessment or metrics, right? This assessment metrics can be of different types. Just have a look at it. Pre-session, before you start your session, what is their understanding on that particular topic? What level of what you call and insights they have got about that particular thing? You can check the pulse of the class before you check, so that you can go for what you call whether you start at the advanced level or you start from the basic level. So that is for pre-session. Post-session, you have conveyed something, you have delivered something, so whether it has reached or not. You want to have a poll, an opinion on a particular aspect. See, most of the classes like philosophy, social sciences, and some other things, see, you will ask for a poll. Like I make a statement, how many of you agree with it? I make a statement, how many of you have a difference of opinion? And finally, feedback. So for all these purposes, you can use assessment tools. The only thing is, the earlier assessment tools we were using is like kind of monotonous, and it will be a bit boring. So here I will talk of certain assessment tools and assessment softwares which are available, which will make it more interactive and it will gamify your assessment. Okay, right. We teach gamification as one of the tools. So what is gamification? You come out with a game for that matter. Okay, you ask them to play the game, and thereon you teach something. So here the gamification I'm talking is about like they play a video game. You move from level to level, and they get certain rewards for clearing each level. So how to make our classroom assessments in that order so that the students are engaged. Of course, this is not going to appeal for the postgraduate, but for your surprise, I conducted one such tool. I experimented with my class actually, but they are excited. Okay, so always there is a child in each and every one of us. Okay, so you can try it at least once, fine. And for kids, it is more appealing. Okay, now let us discuss the tools. These are some tools which can gamify your kind of assessments. Okay, you can go for whatever type of assessment you wanted to have, the assessment type questions. It can be a multiple choice, it can be a fill in the blanks or whatever it is. But these softwares will make it more engaging. How it will make engaging? Let us take, for example, this quizzes. Okay, so it will give you in colorful things. Okay, the 4 tabs which you need to click for multiple choice. If you click the correct answer, it will give you some coins, and it will show you out of picture you have done great and all those things. If you are clicking the wrong answer, what it will do, it will again throw you out a picture saying that sorry, better luck next time. It will throw you some images. Okay, right. So similarly, this Kahoot, ClassDojo, ClassCraft. So these are all the tools which can gamify your assessment. The same multiple choice question. I don't mean that you will have to lineate or dilute your strictness in evaluation. The only thing we are attempting to do is, see, always assessment is the hated part by the students. Okay, even if you ask them to sit for the class, they will sit actually. But if you are saying that we are going to conduct a test or something like that, always they have an aversion. So to do away with that, you can conduct a quiz kind of thing where they would participate with engagement. Okay, so this will make it with more colorful graphics and all those things. Okay, you can check it. The most recommended thing which you will have it from my end will be this quizzes and ClassCraft. Okay, you can use both of them. It doesn't mean that Kahoot and ClassDojo is inferior in any way. These two I have tried it to depth, and Kahoot and ClassDojo yet to try. Okay, so these are some assessments which you can gamify it. Okay. Okay. Now I will take you to a different dimension is in assessment, post assessments. So those softwares will give you coins, and those softwares will give you some, say you have done well. It will even give a clapping sound. Some of the softwares will do it. Okay, and some of the softwares, Subway Surfers, most of the game, when you are playing online, it will say you are at this level among your Facebook friends. So quizzes will also take you to the next level when you answer a correct question. All those things are there. But most of the teachers, we have a practice of giving rewards to our students when they do something right. Some of you will have the habit of presenting a pen. Some of you will have the habit of presenting some chocolates for the correct answers. Some of you may be presenting some books or something like that. But being in a digital platform, what can we do? Okay, so we can give some non-monetary rewards, maybe in form of some certificates appreciating their work. Okay, so in that order related to that, I am giving you certain softwares which will easily enable you to design your own certificates so that you can give it to your students so that they get motivated. Okay, right. And before that, I would also share with you two of the research tools which we can use for surveys. Okay. In most of the social sciences, we use data collection. Okay, that is a core part of it, and data is very vital. Okay, unless you are doing an purely scientific research, and most of the social sciences. So how to collect these opinions and all those things? The basic thing we are all familiar with is Google Forms, which is very common, hassle-free, and it is free. But you will have to create your own questions. If you want to move to a next level, where you have got predetermined templates, and then there are a lot of things like SurveyMonkey. In this line, you have got different things. Okay, there are many tools. The one thing which I found more interesting, I learned it in workshop and I just explored, which is Qualtrics. Okay, and it can throw you with all the kinds of what you call Say for example, if you're going for a 5-point scale question, so the next time you create a 5-point scale question, it will give you the 5 points or 7 points by default. Okay, say for example, strongly disagree to strongly agree. So it has inbuilt. And if you want to ask for an opinion whether it is good or not, we have a 5-point scale for measuring the good, measuring whether it is good or not, excellent to poor. So all these options are inbuilt. And one more thing is, you can visualize your results. Actually, you can create a survey, you can send it to your group, whosoever mail ID you are having. So once you have shared with them, this will throw out you all the basic analysis like percentages, mean, median, average, and all those things. This will throw out. Okay, so just try to explore with this Qualtrics. Fine. Right. We were talking about certificates. How about rewarding your students for doing a great job in terms of their assessments? Okay, right. Again, I will tell you most of the common tool which is available. See, whenever it is very close and it is freely available, we most of the times don't notice that. One beautiful tool for creating your own certificates for you to award to your own students is this MS Publisher. It comes as a part of your MS package, Microsoft Word, Office, Excel, PowerPoint, Office package. This MS Publisher you will find where you can have predetermined designs of certificates and all those things. For those who are design frenzy, especially the IT CSC people and those who are more into designing and all those things, where you want to have your customized designs and most higher order levels of designs and all those things, then you can go for Photoshops and Adobe. Okay, it not only for rewarding your students for assessment, even for creating your own PowerPoint templates, you can use these softwares. Okay, so these are handy. Then I don't have much knowledge in designing and all those things. I want everything in handy. Just like that, I want to put some content alone. This is to certify that so and so my student has performed well in the quiz conducted by me, or this team of students have won first place in the quiz conducted by me. So I want the templates handy. Then you can use these softwares which are available. Okay. So you can use Canva, which is an, it's not, I am using here, it is in the context for designing certificates, but it is not only certificates. You can create a lot more brochures, you can create pamphlets, you can create posters. And the beautiful thing is to motivate kids more than certificates, what it will motivate them is small badges and all those things. So you can create e-badges with this Canva software. Okay. So you can create certificates and more. So we have seen the tools for assessment and how to get our data collected also, and how to gamify assessments, and with regard to rewarding for assessments. Okay. So we have done with the third AM. Now to the fourth AM. Now, see, we have now, fortunately or unfortunately, we have been now pushed into this digital platforms, and the need of the day requires us to use this digital platforms extensively. Okay, right? So how to take your own contents which you have created? I'm following a practice, or even I'm most of the times we teaching management graduates, we used to come out with a lot of icebreakers, energizers, team building activities, and all those things, for which we will think a lot with some balloons, clips, and all those activities and all those things. I find something new. I have conducted it in my class. I want to share it to a wider audience beyond my class. So how to reach it? As I have told you in my opening remarks, this mass, it is not only your class is limited to an batch size of 60, 120 or something like that, 40 or 50 students. Now, since you are delivering it in the digital platform, you can reach millions of people who are really interested. So how to make your content and whatever tools you are using, and especially your knowledge which you have got, the subject expertise you have got, make it known to the public. How to share it with the public? We would have certain tools. Okay. Picture is so self-explanatory. So earlier we were using for self-entertainment, download, and now slowly we have moved it to self-publishing, uploading. Now it is self-creation, immersion. So whenever you come out with something new, you can share, and it can be of use to many people beyond your class. So for that, what are all the tools which are available? ICT tools which enable taking your knowledge or your expertise to reach the mass audience. Okay. Before discussing the tools, I would tell you, like, these are all the various forms, or you will be using a combination of these forms to share your knowledge. Okay, it can be in text. Those who are highly into research, technical research, you find something, you find some new concepts, you prove something new, you derive a new iteration, equation, anything. You want to have a highly knowledgeable content to be delivered, text. Okay. Few of us are not into this analytics and all those things. We are most into this creation of videos. Then that is also a form. Then photos, just images. Okay, just images explaining a particular concept. You would call it as even a collage, or it can be just a series of images. For example, there are some school teachers out there. If you want to explain the process of silk, how it creates from larva, butterfly, and all those things. Instead of explaining it in words, just put the stage by stage process. So you can, this is applicable. Just a series of images when you want to explain a process or stages in which undergoes. Then the latest thing, infographics. Okay. So this many male agreed, this many female agreed, this is the thing, and all this thing. I'll tell you, there are softwares to create your own infographics. You can download infographics and use it with your use it in your presentation and as an image. If you are specific about creating, say for example, I have in my own study found out that this many male agrees with this statement and this many female agree with this statement. So there I cannot find a specific readily available infographic. I can create my own infographic. Okay, so these are the forms in which you would communicate your knowledge. Right now we would speak about the tools. Okay, so all these things which we have discussed earlier, you can share it in the form of a blog. Okay, if it is only videos, if you are sharing it only in the form of a video, then it is called a blog, BLOG. Then if you are using a combination of text, picture, infographics alone, then it is called blog. So whatever it is, whether it is a blog or blog, how to take it so that it reaches the mass audience. Okay, we will discuss certain tools. Most of the people would be in advanced stages of your blog. Okay, so you have been having your blogs for more than a decade or no, or some of you would have recently started, or some of you would have started but now you are out of touch with your blogs. Once triggered instance, but beyond a point I don't know how to contribute and all those things. Okay, but we are as I told you, we are always addressing to the people at the bottom of pyramid, we are talking for beginner. So the widely used thing, a simple and easy to start platform is the Blogger. It was developed by a different company way back in 2003, but in 2003 it was bought by Google actually. So now you have, I hear some, okay, now you have this Blogger in all of the Google apps. Okay, so it is simple, easy to start, and you can even earn, and it is by Google. Okay, just start writing. Just go to Blogger, check it out. You can create your own blog. You can have a domain name for your blog, and then you can start writing whatever it is to. Okay, you can share your knowledge. Fine. And I have given a link here which will be shared along with the PowerPoint presentation which I'm using here. So they have listed some blogging platforms. They have made a lengthy, comparison. I'm just clicking it for you. What are the advantages, disadvantages of each of the platform, which is paid and which is not paid, and which is very easy to use, which is not very easy to use. What are the pros, cons? So everything you have in this link actually. So just I'm just taking you to that website. Just have a look at it. Some persons, you have a look at it. So first blog medium they talk about is Medium. The name is Medium itself. Okay. I just wanted to see there are many blogging platforms, but the kind of information they present. Just you see how to start with it. Okay, how the home page will look like. Okay, what are the plus and minus, pros and cons, why you can use that, why you should not use it. All those things they are giving. Likewise, similarly for all the 20 blogging platforms, they have used step-by-step explanation, and they have also done a comparison. So just when you have time, just have a look into it, and then you can find out the most suitable blogging platform which will suit your need and through which you can reach your target audience. Fine. Right. I'm moving back to my PowerPoint presentation. Right. So specifically a blogging platform which I wanted to talk is this WordPress. Okay. So most of you will be using this WordPress actually. For those who are new to this platform, please start using WordPress. In the home page itself, you will find more than 70% of the content which was available in the World Wide Web is from WordPress only. Okay, so you look at the stats and all those things. Fine. So most of us will get confused between WordPress org versus WordPress.com. Okay, there are two versions available. WordPress is not only a blogging website, it is a content management software. Actually, you can hold a lot of contents there. You can also create your own customizable website with WordPress. Okay, so WordPress org is most of a paid thing where you have full customization, but it is paid. WordPress.com is free, but the customizations are limited. But yet you can do wonderful things with WordPress.com. You can have your own web hosting. You can have your own free domain name. You can have your themes and all those things. Just I will show you my WordPress website. I'm not showing it to show you as an example that this is how a great WordPress website will be. There are a lot many people out there who has got a lot more beautiful things done by WordPress. This just I will let you know how a WordPress, even if you are using a free platform, how a WordPress website of you can look like. Okay, so I'm closing all other things. People who are actually into extensive use of WordPress, kindly excuse me, I'm talking to the beginners actually for their thing to understand. Okay, so just you need to have an login account for WordPress. So I'm already into this WordPress, so it asks default, so I'm just continuing. Okay, see, This is my admin page, okay, where I can customize my website. You know, I can go for a setup. See, it is all what you call self-explanatory. You can go step by step by completing all the things, and you will be able to host it. Okay, design tools. This has got many advanced tools, highly technical, but we can also use it. Okay, once you have written your blog and you have added certain pages. See, I have added pages like Facebook. I have linked my Facebook to this, so that whenever I write a blog, it will automatically get posted in my Facebook. It will send an intimation that so and so has written a new blog on this. So once I have created, this is how my site will look like. And you, if you could see here, you can see it even carries my own icon, my photograph. So this is how you can go for customization. So this is the latest blog I have written. So if you want to write a new blog, then you can click write, and it will ask for what do you call. It is a predefined templates where you can add headings, subheadings. If you want to add pictures, you can add. And after doing everything, customization, you can just publish your own WordPress blog. Okay. You can also create your own web pages with this WordPress. Okay. Just it is taking some time. Please hold on. Okay. So first time you will have to do all this thing. So you should customize everything. So you can see, just you add a title. You can start typing. You can just add block, whether it is a paragraph, subheading, or whatever it is. The beauty is even you can copy and paste it from Word, which is more convenient for you. Okay. And once I have done all those things, so this is how my home page will look like. And I can also customize my home page also. Okay. Right. So you can see my blog, about me. When I say about me, it will take the details of me. Okay. So you see the things I have added, blog statistics. Okay. How many of them are following, whether I want to read comments, can add your own contact details. Okay. Instead of sending an what you call biography or profile, if somebody asks, hey, this is my WordPress thing, you just check it there. You can just go for it. So if I click this, it will take it to my FB page. Okay. If you have your Instagram and Twitter accounts also, you can embed this into it, and you can create a link here. Okay. So this is about WordPress for you. Fine. I'm going back to my presentation. Okay. These are other platforms apart from WordPress which you can use. Okay. You can just have a look. Most of the youngsters, they will have their web page here. Wix is a web hosting thing, content management thing. You can create your own customized web page. And in Google, you have something, Google Sites, similar thing. Everything works similar. The only thing is you need to find the right thing for your suitability and thing. Since I'm part of institution, I'm both using Google Site as well as WordPress, and I'm also in this thing, third platform, which is called Linktree. Okay, so Linktree is very simple, and Google Site and Linktree almost works similar. For every content you want to add, you just need to have a link of that content, and it will work. Okay, just have a look at it. I'm just typing my website in Linktree. For academics, I'm using this Google site because it's more of a course. I can add pages, more number of pages. Okay, for each course, I have created a page, and you can upload videos, and you can add titles and all those things. And for my personal thing, I use Linktree. It is Linktree. It will have your name actually. Have a look at it. So this is how you can have your website with the help of Linktree. And each and every link you create, you can just whatever you have linked, it will take you to that particular pages which you have created. Okay. So only thing is you will have to have the content ready, and you can link it here. So this is how my admin page will look like. See, you can add tabs and you can also customize. Say when I click my organization, it will I have linked my institute's website to this organization, so it will automatically take it to the website. So if I want to customize it, so this is how you can go for the customization. Instead of going for it, just type Linktree. Without your name, that will take you to your website. Ignore the dot, just to put Linktree. Okay. So you can just log in, or you can sign up for free. Okay, I'm just logging in. See, most of the sites now with login requires your Google ID. So here I'm just typing my username. So now what I have showed you earlier is the website of mine, which you can see it here. Now how to add new links, just click add new link. You can add it. Okay. And you can also see how your website will look at in a mobile phone. Okay. So side by side, you can see. If you want to change the appearance also, you can change the appearance. Okay. I have used a dark theme. And if you want to change the theme, it will also, you can do it. Okay. So you can customize your website. So just go for it, just explore. Okay, fine. I'm just closing all those things for the sake of connectivity and all. Okay. Right. So these are some of the other web hostings where you can create your own customized websites. Then you create lot of videos, and there is nothing more than a medium to take you reach to larger audience than YouTube. So now YouTube, every person who has got a Gmail account, you are allocated with 128 GB of free space for you to upload your own videos in YouTube. So you can very well make use of that feature. You can create your own YouTube channel. So whatever you recorded for the class, you can just upload it to the YouTube so that it can be viewed by a mass audience. Or you are doing a live recording. Now, what if my class wants to hear to my session later? Okay, so you can record it very well, upload it in YouTube. So whenever they require, even after they have gone, you would have experienced, most of you, even after they go for working in organizations, they will ask for certain tools. Sir, you conducted this activity on that day. Now I am doing some program for my people here. Can you suggest that activity? You can very well ask them to refer your videos. Okay, and they can get it clarified from you anywhere. So they have a permanent thing of your knowledge and your subject expertise. So you can use also this YouTube channel. You can upload videos recorded from Camtasia and Loom, which I have stated you earlier, or you can use the YouTube Studio icon, and you can instantly record video, and you can also upload it. Okay. Of course, there are certain limitations with regard to timing and all those things, and the size of video which you can upload. You will have to be careful on that if you are a starter. Okay, if you are a beginner with that, be careful with that. Get some opinion from the IT guys or people who are really into this making of YouTube videos. Most of your friends and other things. What is the size limit? What is the duration limit? What if I want to have extended durations? There are somebody who are uploading 2.5 hours videos and all those things. How to do it? Everything you can get it. But the point here is, this is one of the other medium which you can use it to take your content to a mass audience, right? So before we close, I think we would have discussed around 25 to 30 tools right here. Okay. But there are a lot of out there. You remember that from a splash of hydrant, it is water splash, taking a cup of water. It is what is like internet, taking things from internet is all about. So you need to spend a lot of time in exploring. Not all comes ready. There are something which will at a later point only you will realize that that is better than this, or this is have this ICT tool which I'm having using has a problem of this. Okay. See, unless otherwise we use this Google Classrooms and all those things, you use Google Classroom. But what if I just log in and I mind my own activity? How to keep track of them? Or what if I log in? I know when the session will be over. So before 10 minutes, I just come in and I fill the feedback form and go. Okay. It all can happen. Okay. Right. You need to search for it. Then you need to spend a lot of time in exploring and designing the correct tool which will suit your needs. Okay. And as I told you, we were also reaching different target audiences. If in my case, I am reaching postgraduates, most of you would be reaching undergraduates, high school, higher secondary, and even kids. So what will suit for them? You see, most of the kids, they will not have access to all the softwares. They will not be having a mail ID to enroll themselves with. So if it is high school and higher secondary school students, you can experiment with most of the tools. If it is for kids, then you will have to create your own content and send it through WhatsApp actually. Okay. So you need to explore, spend some time in selecting the right tool and keep on looking for new updations, latest features and all those things. Okay. So you need to explore and select. Then you need to constantly update, but that doesn't mean that you should not continuously use a particular tool. Okay. We've been using Moodle and Google Classroom for quite more than decades actually from now. Okay. But still, though we are into other platforms, moved into Edmodo and all those things, Flipgrid we are using, but we are still into this Moodle. Okay. So if you are frequently switching your platforms, I told you, at least for a batch, if you have decided to use a tool, you need to stick to that until that batch closes actually. Okay, fine. So if you are constantly asking your people to switch to different platforms. I run an Edmodo class, 2 of the topics I discuss. Now I find Flipgrid more engaging than Edmodo. Okay, all students, I'm closing my class at Edmodo. Come to this Flipgrid. So tomorrow I find a different tool, I'm moving there. That will not work. Be consistent, at least for a batch, but at the same time, you also need to update. So strike a perfect balance between these two. And there we close our session. Okay. And thanks for your time. And thanks so much for joining. Ma'am, we can stop the recording of the session right here.
Sir, yes, sir.
When I'm back into my classroom, I'll come back into my classroom.